पिक्चर എടുത്തോണ്ടിരിക്കും ശരി
Good afternoon, all of you. Why did this get open? You're not sitting on ground floor. Can't see anything. Can't do bird watching from ground floor. Close it, close it. You kept it open. Mobile will tell you whether it is raining outside or not. Okay, friends, sorry for the delay. Actually, 2 months I have got a bit spoiled. I'm used to having lunch and go for a sleep. Okay, so anyway, today we had the chartering session. I hope all of you know me. Am I right? If you have done economics of sea transport in first year, you should definitely know who am I. All of you are cleared? Your first year? Yes. Cleared all subjects? No. Don't worry. July ho gaya, November is coming. Opportunities keep on coming. So don't worry, opportunities are there. Okay, friends, second year some sessions are done already? Or is this the first session? Third, fourth. Somebody has attended all fourth. Somebody who has attended for the first time first. Okay. Friends, I will be dealing with the subject chartering for all of you. Narman Point batch, mostly I will be the faculty for chartering. Now, before I start with the session, couple of things which I want to tell about the subject and about how we are going to go about with this particular subject. Chartering as a term indicates, I have discussed it in the first year when I did economics of sea transport. I'm just repeating. Chartering basically means hiring. And in shipping, whenever somebody has to transport goods from one port to another port, he doesn't go and buy the ship, he goes and hires a ship. And that is how the term chartering has come into shipping. It is basically ship chartering that we are going to discuss. Now, in your second year, if I am correct, your batch is going to have 6 subjects. Am I correct?
Yes.
An additional paper of logistics management. From next year, it will become 5 subjects. Fine, so you are the lucky batch. You have an opportunity to attempt one more paper. क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? February बहुत दूर है. February is the month when you start your studies. To be precise, last week of February. If it is a leap year, 29th of February. Am I right?
Yes.
See, all of you agree with me in everything. Now, coming to the subject chartering, definitely, I'm honestly telling you, it is a very, very interesting subject. Chartering is considered to be the core commercial activity in shipping. It is the core commercial activity. It's a very, very practical subject. All of you got the study material?
No.
You got the study material. Okay. Which subject is fat? Chartering. Like faculty, study material. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No, it's okay. I'm married. I have 2 kids now. I don't mind. Now, it's like Swaminathan's paper will be very thin. Frankly, when I was a student, chartering study material we used to collect it later. Why? Because 3 books or 4 books for the other subjects and 3 books for chartering alone. It used to be 3 study material for chartering alone. And as said, in the month of February when you take, you have an option to read 7 books or read 4 books. So many of us, what used to do, not me, but many of my fellow students, they used to opt out chartering and focus on the 4 study material rather than 7 study material. It was somewhere about few years back, a review was done of the study material, and I did the review for chartering, and I saw why it is 3 materials, 3 books of study material being given to you. You'll be surprised, your entire syllabus of first year was there in the first book. You had commercial geography, you had shipping practice, you had a bit of law, you had a bit of current shipping environment. Everything was there in material number 1. That was chartering volume number 1. Chartering volume number 2 had a little bit of your second year syllabus other than chartering. And the third was the subject, which was core chartering. Now this is what our predecessors had said the study material. They weren't wrong. They were absolutely right. Because when you speak about a chartering practitioner has to know all these aspects of shipping, then only he can be an effective chartering practitioner. He needs to know which cargo is moving from which part to which part of the world. He needs to know what are the types of the ships. He needs to know how much cargo can be loaded depending upon the type of ship and depending upon the type of cargo. So everything was relevant, directly or indirectly, to chartering. That is the reason they had 3 volumes of chartering. Eventually we trimmed it down. I made it 1.5 volume. Last year we further trimmed it down and we made it 1 volume. So there will be no duplication. Whatever is taught to you in the other subjects is relevant from a chartering perspective as well. Now all of you have taken the material. Let me tell you how your syllabus is laid down as far as chartering is concerned. Chartering is a 100-mark paper for you in the final year. Now how I look at the syllabus is, the syllabus is divided into 3 parts. Part 1 is Introduction to Chartering. Part 2 is Dry Cargo Chartering. And Part 3 is Tanker Chartering. Very good. Part 1, Introduction to Chartering, under this particular bracket, you will be dealing with what are the basic type of charters? What are the other methods of employing a ship? What are the chartering terms? There are many chartering terms. Let me tell you, any commercial shipping term is a chartering term. Any commercial shipping term is actually a chartering term. But there are some specific set of terms which you are supposed to know, which is chartering terms. Then there is chartering abbreviations. Chartering fraternity generally uses lot of abbreviations. This is followed by the trade practice. Lot of trade follows it. So you need to know what is the full form of the abbreviation, what is the interpretation of that particular abbreviation. Because one incorrect abbreviation can lead to a commercial dispute, can even lead to a commercial loss. And then you have something called as chartering negotiations. A very, very important topic under the bracket Introduction to Chartering, chartering negotiations. And finally you have a small topic, do's and don'ts of a chartering manager. What are the things he should do? What are the things he should avoid to do? This is the topic Introduction to Chartering. Then the next is the dry cargo chartering. Dry cargo chartering basically means you are discussing about ships which carry dry cargo. All of you know by now. Am I right? bulk carriers is what you are going to discuss. The ships which carry iron ore, grain, coal, dry cargo ships. Under this head, you will have a subject called as time charters. What is time chartering? What are the charter parties related to time chartering? Calculations of time chartering. Then you have a topic called as stowage factor. Very, very important. It is abbreviated as SF in chartering. Stowage factor. Again, you have problems on stowage factor. Then you are supposed to know the types of bulk carriers, what are the cargoes it loads, from which port it loads to which port it discharges, what are the specifications of some ports as to the way they handle the dry cargoes, all that you are supposed to know. Then you have a very important topic, that is voyage estimation for dry cargo. And then you have one more topic, lay time calculations for dry cargo. Now this is what is your dry cargo chartering comprising of. Now under dry cargo chartering, again you are supposed to know some contracts related to dry cargo. Contracts not from a legal perspective but from a practitioner's perspective. Legal perspective, charter parties are not discussed with you under law, it is coming under chartering. Okay, the commercial contracts that is finalized between charterer and the ship owner. Of course, you are not supposed to know the entire contract, you are supposed to know the main terms of the contract. Then comes tanker chartering. You are looking worried. Don't get worried. Why are you so worried? I'm there. Okay. Next is tanker chartering. Tanker chartering is dealing mainly with tankers which carry wet cargoes, petroleum products. Under this topic, there are some terms which is very specific to tankers. Like you have inert gas system, you have cow operation, you have stripping activity, lot of stripping activity of ships, I mean. There are a lot of things which you are supposed to know specifically for tankers, which is very unique about tankers. Again over here, types of tankers, types of cargoes, possible load ports, possible discharge ports, you are supposed to know. A very important topic you will be dealing over here, and that is world scale. In first year, I had done a brief introduction of world scale. You will be remembering that. Okay, over here you are supposed to know the calculation of world scale. How is freight calculated using world scale systems? Then you have contracts or charter parties related to tanker trade. And then again, you have voyage estimation for tankers, you have lay time calculation for tankers. So in a nutshell, this is what your syllabus is. 3 sections getting into specifics of each. Now let's come to your examination. I have gone through your past papers. Almost 10-year papers I have gone through. Those days, 1 question paper, 1 year. Then it became 2 question papers, 1 year. Now it is 3 question paper every year. I have gone through all papers. If you look at the composition of marks, okay, there is some standardization in that. I'm sure all of you will do that, but I'm just telling from my perspective how I look at it. If you see, there is always a compulsory question, 20 marks compulsory question on voyage estimation. It is either a dry cargo voyage estimation, that is a bulk carrier voyage estimation, or it is a tanker voyage estimation. Then there is 20 mark compulsory question on lay time calculations. It is either a dry cargo lay time calculation or it is tanker lay time calculation. Invariably, if you see, what the examiner does is, if one question he asks for dry cargo, the next question is generally for tankers. If voyage estimation is for bulk carrier, lay time is for tankers. If voyage estimation is for tankers, lay time is for dry cargo. Sometimes it is tricky. Both are for bulk carriers, both are for tankers. This is almost 40 marks, which is compulsory question. It is invariably your 6th or 7th question, or it is 7th or 8th question, just showing the last and the second last question. Then amongst the other questions, you are supposed to attempt 4 questions, each comprising of 15 marks. So like 20 plus 20, 40 marks is towards your lay time calculation and voyage estimation. Another is 60 marks, 4 questions of 15 marks each. Out of this balance 4 questions, invariably 1 question is either world scale calculation, or it is time charter calculation, or it is stowage factor calculation. Invariably, out of this 60, 1 question is either time charter, stowage factor, or world scale. In some years, 1 question of world scale, 1 question of time charter, or 1 question of time charter, 1 question of stowage factor. So if you literally go to C, 40 marks compulsory problem solving towards lay time calculation and voyage estimation, 15 marks generally it comes, that is 55 marks, and sometimes another 15 marks, that will make it 70 marks. 70 marks of chartering paper is problem solving. Are you understanding it? It is problem solving, directly or indirectly. So unlike your first year paper of economics of sea transport, which was quite theoretical, you people could write many things without knowing anything. Am I right? Right? एक स्टोरेज वर्ड देखा, इसमें आगे भरना ही है, कैसा भरना है देखा. चार्टरिंग में इसका स्कोप नहीं है. Why? Because it is a mathematical problem. You should know how to solve that particular problem. Your concepts have to be clear. Your practice has to be adequate. Are you understanding it? Yes. And I've always seen there has never been a year wherein they have not asked a 15-mark question on chartering negotiations. Definitely. If there is a paper on chartering, whether it is Narottam Moraji, whether it is Institute of Chartered Shipbroker, or whether it is EMET, any institute you see, if there is a paper on chartering, there has to be chartering negotiations. What are you people writing? I am not giving a question bank over here. I am giving my observation about your syllabus. Okay. Fine, fine. So friends, how I intend to go through this particular series of sessions on chartering is, on an average, I will be taking 6 sessions or 7 sessions for one academic year. If I take around 6 sessions, or you can say, let's say, chartering is relatively vast syllabus. I have to be honest, it's not a short syllabus, it's a vast syllabus. I will devote 2 sessions for introduction to chartering, including chartering negotiations. I will devote 2 sessions for dry cargo chartering, and I will devote 2 sessions for tanker chartering. Okay? I have to assume that fundamentals of shipping is very clear for all of you. I can assume that. Am I correct? If you have cleared your first year, or you will prospectively clear your first year, I have to assume that your fundamentals of shipping is very, very clear. What my submission to you is that, and please try and do this. when I am dealing with a particular subject, okay, I told you in the first year only, these are guidance sessions. I practically cannot complete each and every lesson of your syllabus. Then it has to be a full-time program. Okay, it cannot be a part-time weekend program. Okay, over here we are meeting only on the weekends, and as far as I am concerned, you will be meeting me once in a month or maybe once in 3 weeks. What I suggest is, if suppose I am dealing with a particular topic today, okay, I will be meeting you maybe after 3 weeks or after 4 weeks. Go through the material, run through with what all our topics I have discussed. Okay, theory though still you people can take an exemption, you can read it later on. But practical problems, no. If I am doing voyage estimation for dry cargo, a full, you can say 2 hours or maybe even 3 hours I will devote for voyage estimation for dry cargo. How many problems can I solve? I can solve 1, 2 or maximum 3. Okay, you will have to go and practice more and more problems so that you get the skill of actually how to estimate a voyage. Let me tell you, if you take, of course you have to take the entire program very seriously.
Here are the top search results.
Kai सांगतो रे. So Google, not Srini, Google. Okay, now, whenever we solve any problem we solve, try to logically and conceptually understand. Because in whatever field of shipping you are, whether you are on the legal side, whether you are on the insurance side, whether you are a chartering practitioner, let me tell you, these concepts of chartering, if you are directly or indirectly associated with shipping, you will see that in your work life also it keeps on coming. It's a fact. Invariably, any commercial disputes is there. If there is an arbitrator, you know, he has to basically discuss the terms of the contract. He has to discuss what has been the financial implications. All that, where do you learn? You learn it under the head chartering. Okay, I'm not trying to give prominence to me. I'm trying to give the prominence to the subject that you're going to deal with. Okay, so just don't focus at it just with an intention of clearing the paper. No. Focus from it so that you improve your knowledge, your basics of shipping. Okay? Very good. I have motivated all of you? Yes. Very good. So I will start with the subject chartering. I'm short of time, so straight away we will get on to the topic chartering. What I intend to do today is, I will discuss what are the types of charter, which all of you know very well. I will just reiterate, recapitulate that, and then we will discuss few chartering terms. Okay, around 8 or 9 chartering terms we will be discussing. Now, when you say chartering, one of the very important questions